So when it comes to float training, you want to make sure that each little step is consistent and they're relaxed in each step before you move on to the next one. So this little guy's just finished his float training here. He's learnt things pretty quickly, but he was backing off every time he'd go up into the float. So we're working on just getting him comfortable in there, relaxed in there, and then learning the behaviours that he needs to learn. So walking in on his own, me leaving while he stays in there, which way to face, all that kind of thing. So for starters, it's just incrementally teaching them to go further and further in, always coming back off once they've achieved the next step, reinforcing, backing off, doing it again in the same place, and then working on duration. So they should be able to stand at any point of the float and relax there and not feel the need to come off before you move on to the next step. So you don't want to be asking them to get all the way in. You don't even want to be asking them to go in, any further than they're consistently and comfortably going. Otherwise, you've got to go back a step or a few steps and work on that instead. So once they're fully, this guy's just learned everything. So once they're fully trained doing that, he should be able to walk in, guide you there, on his own. And he's learnt to go up and angle the correct way as well. So if he's a bit too far, I can just ask him to go forward a little bit. And to do that, I'm just giving a little rise of the whip here. It's like a visual cue. Good. That he understands. Good boy. Well done. Once they're comfortable going all the way in and they're not wanting to come back out again, you can start to teach them to stay in while you leave. So the way that I do that is just using a pat just to help, seems to help them figure it out. But going a little bit, just shifting your energy back. If he doesn't move back, say good, reinforce, come back to the head to give a treat. Obviously you don't want him following you back. So woo, and I put a vocal cue on that. It's just woo, going further back. If he doesn't move, good, go back to the head and reinforce. So at the very start, you'll be right up here and you'll just be sort of shifting your energy back a little bit and then coming back and reinforcing. Because once they've learnt to go in the float and follow you in, they are next to you. So they think that that's, when you go forward, they go forward. If you go back, they also go back. So you're just starting to teach them a new cue that says, I'm going to go back and I want you to stay there. Good boy. Always reinforce a big deep breath. So once he's comfortable with that, and this is incrementally increased criteria by moving further and further back until you're able to go all the way back over here and he doesn't move at all. So he's comfortable, he's not thinking about outside, so he's not turning his attention back out to there. He's just relaxing here, which is perfect. Good. So the next step from here would be getting him used to the barrier. So I start that by coming back up towards his head just so that it's easier for him to be okay with it because I'm here with him. And just moving at a tiny little bit. Good, reinforce, good, reinforce. Moving a little bit more, moving it consistently and reinforcing for all of that until he's fully comfortable with that and you're able to shut the barrier all the way to him and touch him and he's not reacting at all or he's moving off the pressure. And then that's when you would change the criteria. So once they're good with that, and of course breaking that into many little bits, then we know that he's okay with the barrier and he's also got the safety net with us standing there. So now we remove the safety net and we start again from scratch. So I'm going to move the barrier a little bit here. Good, reinforce, go back to his face. He's obviously already learnt this stuff because he's had the week of training, but these are the steps that you go through. And then a little bit more. If he tensed up at any point, I would just wait, hold it there, see if he could bring himself back down. And if so, I'd reinforce. If not, then we'd just go back a step. So once he's comfortable with all of that, we can start to move it closer and closer until he is, comfortable with it being anywhere and moving at any speed. And then we can get him to move away from that pressure a little bit more. Good. Good boy. So this is pretty much where he was at to yesterday. Good boy. and just getting him to respond without the tension raising too much. So he gets a little bit of tension there because this is where he's up to. Good. But we want to obviously aim for him to just relax when being asked. If he's looking around, I'm just going to wait for him to look forward again. Good boy. He just put himself in a better position there. And then we can start to get him used to the sound of the rattling. So he has done this as well. Things jangling. And if his tension went up, then we would stop there and work on that. But he's already done all that, so he's good with that. And then, you know, going back to every time he does something correctly, going back to the first step there. Ooh. Good. So now he's comfortable with all of that, and we know that he will be okay with this. So we're gonna shut that. So only when they're really responding to the pressure. So if he pushes, if you push the barrier and he gives to that pressure every single time and stays relaxed, good boy. That's when you know you can start shutting the barrier and locking it. So until then, you want to just make sure every little step is super, super solid. And only when he's giving to the pressure every single time and never increasing his energy and never wanting to go back, that's when you can move to the barrier. And that's pretty much it. So then we ask him to move back into it, which is done, so he knows not to, his energy won't go up if he moves back into the pressure. And he gives to it, and he's doing this every time. So then we load and unload, and we do it over and over again. Also making sure that he stays relaxed there while I open this. So he shouldn't want to, good. He shouldn't want to rush out if I open the barrier. He should be able to just stand there. Good boy, well done. And then for starters, always asking them to go backwards off the float. So once he's really good at this, he can go forwards off the float if that's what you prefer. But for starters, we don't want them getting used to thinking about leaving by turning like that, because that can start creating a new problem. So we're just going to back off each time until he's just great at this and self-loading every time, and then you can do whatever you want. That's all there is to it. Hey, bud.